Anxiety feeds on itself. That's part of the problem. The more you bow down to it, the more you give it space and give it attention, the more it grows. But the opposite is also true. And that's what we'll explore today. Hi there, meditator. Welcome to episode 56 of Master Your Mind Daily, your daily source of inspiration for all things meditation, anxiety, and personal growth. I am Giovanni Dienstmann, the author of Practical Meditation and the creator of Live and Dare, one of the top 5 most popular meditation blogs on the web. So today we're talking about the law of attention. All of your thoughts, all of your emotions, they are auditioning for your attention. To use an expression that I learned from one of my teachers, Muji. They are auditioning for your attention. If you give them attention, they will stick around. If you ignore them, if you let them pass, if you watch them as bubbles in a stream or clouds in the sky, then they will leave. They will disappear back into nothingness, emptiness. We are all familiar with that story that there are 2 wolves inside of us, the good wolf and the bad wolf. And at any given time, the one we are feeding is the one that is stronger. It's the one whose voice is going to be louder and is going to influence our life more. And it's the same thing with our mind and our thoughts. But instead of 2 wolves, we have 1,000 different wolves. But the principle is the same. You have the power to choose where you place your attention. Which thoughts you're going to adopt as my thoughts. Which thoughts you're going to think. Not the thoughts that come up by themselves. If you are about to go into a social gathering and a thought comes up that, I'm going to sound awkward or I'm going to screw this up. You're not responsible for that thought. That came spontaneously. But you have a choice of what to do with it. And you're responsible for the next thought. And that's where your power lies, where your freedom lies. And meditation makes you aware of that. It helps you make better choices. It shows you that you can choose to pay attention to certain things and not others. Because that's what we're doing in the meditation practice. Again and again, we are choosing to keep our attention on our breath, for example. And whenever it wanders into thinking, we notice that and we bring it back. Again and again. So this develops the muscle of attention and awareness. And so one way to live a better life, to feel more well, happy and peaceful, is to be very careful about which thoughts you pay attention to. That's the power that you have. And so what happens when a negative thought or emotion comes up? What to do about it? There are many different techniques that work. One of them is to just observe and let it pass. The other is to actually dialogue with it. See if there's any truth in that. Kind of use your higher voice, your higher wisdom to dialogue with that thought and expose its false assumptions. And a third way is to replace a negative thought by a positive thought. And this needs to be done wisely, not as a way to escape, not as an escape mechanism, but simply knowing that, look, this thought that is arising today is not new. And I know it's not true. It came yesterday, It has been showing up for a very long time. So let me use this thought as a trigger for a new thought. If a certain thing that happens frequently in your life makes you angry, or trigger thoughts of self-loathing, of negative self-talk, of second-guessing yourself, then you can use that trigger and instead attach a different thought to it. Just like if stress is a trigger in your life that causes you to go on your phone or smoke, you can use that trigger, stress, to instead place in a different habit, a more positive habit, such as doing 2 minutes of mindful breathing. It's the same with your thoughts. There may be habits of negative thoughts for you, habits of fear or worry or anxiety, and you can use that and replace it in with more positive narratives. And that comes back to the first video in this series of Mastering Mind Daily, that one of the greatest gifts of meditation is that it empowers you to choose what story you tell yourself. And the stories you tell yourself determine how you see yourself, how you feel about yourself, and how you navigate life. So this is really important. So anxiety feeds on itself. If anxiety shows up, it immediately attracts your attention. It's like a shiny object. It's a very sticky thought. And then if you give it attention, it will continue. It will want more and more attention from you. Let's say you have to have a difficult conversation with Mark, and then anxiety comes, like, I don't want to have that conversation. Now, if you go and say, okay, I won't have it because it's uncomfortable, you have just bowed down to anxiety. Now, anxiety is your master. It's determining how you act. And the next time, anxiety is going to say, well, not only Mark, but also you shouldn't talk to this person, and you shouldn't go to that place, and you shouldn't try this thing. The more you bow down to anxiety, the bigger of a monster it becomes. It controls your life. Now, the opposite would be to say, yes, anxiety is here. I can see that. I notice how anxiety plays in my body. I can see that I'm contracting. But I'm going to do what I want to do, not what anxiety wants me to do. So here you are the boss. You can feel anything. Any thought can arise. Any emotion can arise. But don't forget that you can be the master of your mind by choosing where you want to place your attention. And if you master your mind, you can master your life. So just like negative thoughts feed on themselves, if you pay attention, they pull more attention, and then you give them more attention, and then they're going to ask you for even more attention. It's a snowball. The same thing with positive thoughts. Courage feeds on itself. When you're feeling fearful to have a difficult conversation, and you go and you have that conversation nevertheless, that is an act of courage, of self-mastery. And the next time when you feel fearful again, it will be a little bit easier for you to have that same act of courage again. Courage also feeds on itself. And so this is the beauty of inner work with meditation. Whatever thought you pay attention to, that will grow. You're making it a little bit easier for your brain to continue on that groove of thinking. So that means you can choose who you want to be. You can choose who you want to become. You can choose which thoughts you will feed. And that, my friends, that is a big freedom. And that's my invitation for you right now. To observe your mind carefully and notice what thoughts and feelings you're paying attention to. And then ask yourself, which thoughts and feelings do I want to pay attention to? It might be difficult for you to show up with more confidence in your life, or with more patience, whatever virtue that would make a big difference for you in your life. It may be difficult right now for you to have that mindset. But each time you practice it, you make it a little bit easier. And then if you keep doing that with patience and perseverance, and ideally with some guidance, if you keep on that track, one day that will be second nature for you. So that's what I had prepared for today. In summary, negative thoughts and emotions, such as anxiety and fear, that limit us, they feed on themselves, meaning that when they show up, they attract our attention. And if we pay attention to them, if we bow to them, they become even bigger, and then they ask for more attention. They start controlling our lives. But likewise, positive thoughts and emotions also feed on themselves. If you have an act of confidence, and then that becomes easier for you to have that act again and again and again, for you to be more confident. Meditation teaches you the law of attention. Whatever you pay attention to grows for you in your life. Whatever you remove your attention from will disappear. Knowing that, I hope you will keep a daily meditation practice and pay attention to the right things. And if you would like my one-on-one help to navigate a difficult situation in your life, or to grow, or to develop a daily meditation practice and overcome anxiety, then consider contacting me for coaching. This was episode 56 of a series of 100 videos that I'm doing. If you enjoyed this, then please like and follow the Facebook page of Living There so you continue receiving them, or subscribe and turn on the bell if you're watching this on YouTube. And until the next time, happy growing.